Hi there, Diecast fans. What we have here is a Lamborghini Murcielago Roadster in 1:18 scale by Bburago. I assume that every fans right there knows the history of this car. Now, for those who doesn't, this is the successor for the famous and successful Lamborghini Diablo. Since the car is already turning more than 10 years old, they wanted a replacement for the Diablo, and this was it, the Murcielago that was introduced back in early 2000s. And yet, even though this is so modern, at the same time, it still looks striking and really looks like a proper and aggressive Lamborghini at the same time. About the diecast itself, now it was priced between 25 to 35 US dollars back in 2013, and I think this car was introduced back in 2009 or 2010, alongside with the introduction of the Murcielago Roadster. Now, the color of this diecast really stands out, as Bburago really picked a very lustrous and glossy finish to this diecast. It really looks good, even though this is a low-budget diecast. Now, besides from giving a positive review on the paint job immediately, I was quite surprised by the detail and the features of this diecast for the price range that you pay. And for me, in my opinion, it can rival some high-end diecast who also makes Lamborghini Murcielago. Now let's go to the front detail of the diecast itself. Now, as you can notice, the iconic Murcielago headlights right there, which is very well known for every Lamborghini. So you could easily recognize it as a Lamborghini Murcielago, especially with that kind of paint job. Just look at that glittering, glossy paint job. It really looks good and gorgeous at the same time. Now, when I say it can rival some high-end diecast, well, in some aspects. As you can see on the honeycomb grill right there, that's not actually a screen or a grill. That's just a painted separate piece with a honeycomb patterns on it. So you could see the logo. It's a tampo, not a diecast. So cleaning this diecast is not going to be a hassle. But what really is fascinating about this diecast is the headlight composition right there. They're made of I think, 3 pieces of parts of plastic right there. So you could see the lens or the glass right there. It's made out of plastic with a very fine finish of the black edgings right there to represent, I don't know, a weather strip on the headlight, and of course the projectors right there inside the headlight. It's just all chrome, but it's still well presented, and at the same time with the amber color right there to say that it's got a park light or a signal light at the same time. And yes, let's not forget, the front does open, so you have to use one of these prying tool right here. So since the gap of this diecast is really close to each other, I mean, there's almost no gaps right there. There is a gap, but it's very small. That's one thing I gave them credit again for Bburago and Maisto improving those kind of things. So you have to open it, and let's see what's inside. And yep, this is just a shallow plastic, big plastic slab on it, nothing else. But still, you still got a frunk. Going to the wheels and tires of this diecast, and the brake set, of course. I could see the cheapening approach by Bburago there. It's just a painted signal light or side indicators there. Well, it's painted, it won't peel, that's one thing. And you could also see the alloy finish of this rim. Now, it still looks plastic, still a bit looks cheap, but still you're gonna get a proper Raging Bull center cap on the wheels. And the shiny disc rotor, again, another low budget technique or approach. And you can also see the brake caliper with a Lamborghini logo on it, a Lamborghini writing, and the rotor disc doesn't move along or spins with the wheels. Now, even though all of those things, it's still a proper alloy rims for the Murcielago. Now, onto the rear wheels of this diecast. Now, these rear tires right here really looks wide to the diecast itself. Of course, this is a Lamborghini Murcielago, it tends to be like that. And about the detailing of the alloy rims and the tires, it still has the same paint scheme on the front as before. And of course, let's not forget the center cap raging bull there, and the shiny chrome disc rotor. And they also included some disc caliper right there. It still really looks good if you judge it by the finish of these rims. Now, you can also see the sticker right there is already peeling. I think this is supposed to be, or I forgot what is written onto that sticker. It's, I think, LP dash and then the number. I think that will be the horsepower that the engine can produce, or I think the sticker also represents the designer or the signature designer of this car. Now, going to the rear part of this diecast, and wow, just look at that exhaust tip right there. It really looks good on camera with that chrome tip right there. It really looks realistic and impressive at the same time. And speaking of realistic, you can see also the tail lamp right here. The transparent red and the amber color into it, and of course the reverse light for the non-color part of the tail lamp. Really looks good. And you can also see another chipping method right there. No, that's not a honeycomb grill. That's just a painted honeycomb pattern. So you can see also the Murcielago license plate there and the Lamborghini logo. It's just a tampo. It means cleaning this diecast again and again, like I said before, is not going to be a hassle. Now, to the engine bay of this diecast. So you could see there a honeycomb grill. That's not actually a honeycomb grill, just a painted pattern on a transparent plastic. Now, you open the engine lid to the opposite side compared to the hardtop Murcielago. So you have to lift this up right there, and you could see the caged V12 engine right there with the Lamborghini writings on the valve cover right there on the air intake, and you can also see the carbon fiber texture plastic right there. Really looks impressive. Now, this is not just a plastic slab like any other Maisto or Bburagos. This is actually, the engine goes through the flooring with a separate engine block and a separate manifold exhaust system, which I will show you later. And let's take a peek underneath this diecast. So, like I said before, the engine is not just a plastic slab. This is a different build from Bburago. So you could see right here the transaxle, and for the engine oil pan, I think, and I think this is going to be the transmission. And you could see also the tubular frame chassis that where the engine is located, and of course there's a suspension for this, and the exhaust that crawls into the engine block right there. Now, it is a budget model, but just look at the detail that they put it into this. Still quite impressive for this kind of diecast. Since this is a roadster or convertible, looking at the interior detail of this diecast is not going to be a hassle at all. So you could see on the steering wheel right there, there's a paddle shifter that indicates that this car is, I think, with an automatic transmission. I don't know if there's another term for that automatic transmission for the supercars. Just let me know. And you could also see on the dashboard the speedometer and the tachometer, I think, and the Lamborghini on the center console, and those buttons, I think, for the audio system or for the climate control. And you can also see the pedals right there with a separate gray color on it, and you could also see the bucket seats there with the yellow interior on it. And the sidings, most of the color of the interior is gray, but still the interior of this car really looks decent. And I almost forgot another feature of this diecast. Now, you cannot call this a Lamborghini without the Lamborghini scissor doors. So of course, as you lift them up, both doors does open in a scissor style as Lamborghini intended. Now my verdict for this diecast, if you're on a low budget and you want a Murcielago Roadster in your collection, well, this is it. Bburago is not gonna disappoint you by every detail that they put it into. So like I said, it can rival some high ends at some aspects, but not totally. You can see the build quality, like I mentioned. Like for example, this glass right here on the left part of the door tends to flap around, and the honeycomb pattern grille with having a cheap approach. And let's not forget the yellow indicator there. Yet this is a budget model. Don't expect too much. This is still a very good diecast collection if you're a supercar collector of the early 2000s or just an avid fan of the Raging Bull. So guys, thank you for watching, and I hope this entertains you and helps you purchasing a Lamborghini Roadster. And have a nice day.